Thanks, Dave, for the introduction. So my name is Jacco Opmeer. I work for Shell. In Shell, I'm responsible for the program which relates to OPAF, Open Process Automation. And I'm also working on a number of programs that are more in the realms of existing DCS system replacements, so global programs and how to optimize those. In OPAF, together with Luis Duran, I have the co-chair role of the business working group. I'm also active as a member of the WIB in the Netherlands. I'm in the board of executive board, and I'm also active as an EAX member, so in the control systems work group. I talk to a lot of end users on different subjects, but a lot of them are related to how to implement open systems and what hurdles to take. So I think it's interesting to share that perspective with you, and it's not just a Shell perspective, but that's a perspective I get from many end users on how to move further with open systems and where to start. And that's really what I like to discuss with you in this section. But before I do that, I think it's important to share this with you one more time. I am sure you've seen this quite a few times, but just for your information, I'd like to share the OPAF vision, the architecture vision we have for an open standards-based and interoperable, secure system. And as you can see on the architecture slide, there's yellow and blue elements. The yellow elements basically are the new elements, the elements which will evolve out of the open process automation standard. And the blue elements are existing elements we already know today, like DCSs, PLCs, machinery systems, etc. In the end, we will have a parallel. So with this traditional automation system you see in front of you, we will draw the parallel, the functional parallel between what we have today, what we understand, what we all see, all the pictures we know, and draw the parallel to the open systems. And to do that, I'd like to make a few explanations about how the system will actually work, where the functions of that system will sit, and what that actually means. So to start, I like to start off with the field device side and the field side, so level 1 of our current systems. As you can see, that now is represented on the right side with the DCS and the I/O, and on the left side there's the distributed control node, or the DCN. As you can understand, the DCN is everything we can do with level 1 today. So it will contain I/O as well as some sort of compute power to run programs, our base layers control, if you will. But it can do more than just that. You can see that there is a DCN with no lines on the south side, on the bottom side, which means that it's just an edge type of device containing an app, which would mean that there is some smart application running in the lowest bottom side of your system, if you will. And then there's this application, which you see there. Applications run in multiple places in our current systems, but in OPAF, that application can sit almost anywhere. So it's all about where this application sits, where it's best suited, if you will, which is true for OPAF. And that's not always the case for our current systems. So if you have new applications you want to run, it's often difficult to move them, to input them, to put them in your system and put them at work. And this is the ACP, or Advanced Computing Platform. Can be compared to level 2, level 3 type applications and the compute devices on which these applications sit. It's a virtualized platform, so that means that it will use servers, but it will have a lot of applications running on virtual machines in this platform. And to connect, the information coming from the DCNs and used by the applications, we need something to connect both all the devices, a spine or a backbone, if you will, and that is actually represented by what we call the OCF. I'm sorry. So that's the OPAS connectivity framework. And again, that's the network in between all the applications that transports the information from one application to another or shares between applications, etc. Now I can hear you think, where should I start? Are there any products on the market, etc., etc.? Those questions are questions I get quite a lot as well. And if you want to get started, then there are, multiple ways of getting started, and I'll try to touch on a few of those. One is, for instance, the greenfield example I'll share here, and I'll also touch on the brownfield example going forward. Now, getting back to that one question on certified products, can we already build an OPAS system? So the real answer is there's no certified components yet. But for those who followed our efforts, they know that we are working on certification very extensively, and it's closing in. We're getting there, and I think the first suppliers have come to market with a platform as well that is OPAF ready, if you will. And so what if that's available? What do you do? What do you want to explore, and where do you start? Well, the easiest way to start is obviously with a sort of a greenfield pilot or a test bed, if you will. And that could be done by connecting field devices, a few field devices to DCNs. DCNs being smart I/O or formal DCNs with built-in I/O that are connected to the OCF, and on top of that OCS, they have an ACP where you can run higher level type of applications, and you can put an HMI, connect an HMI to that, and visualize the process you're working on. That could be one way, and that can be done today, as is shown by a few end users which have shared that with us as well. I think you already saw presentations here in the ARC on the ExxonMobil testbed. I know ExxonMobil has gone a long way in pathfinding and defining how this can work for them. BASF showed their demonstrator at the Namur Hauptsitzung last year. Or actually it was a little bit before that, November 2019 at the Hauptsitzung from Namur. I think that all shows that there is already things in motion, and I know a lot of other end users are building their own test beds or trying this technology on pilot sites. I think this is a way you can get started. You can start small, expand from this, and then move further. Another way of getting started, as I already mentioned, is more, I would say, the brownfields approach. In this brownfield approach, we need to connect the existing infrastructure, the infrastructure we have, our current system, to the OPAS system. That would require a device, a DCN, which is called gateway. As you see here, this is how we see the connection between an existing system and the new OPAF environment, if you will. This will allow you to, to experiment and to find your way through the OPAS and what OPAS will bring you by connecting old to new. And it will allow you to do things like this, like connecting a DCN and have real-time communication between the new DCN and your existing system. And if you expand that, you will gradually move functionality from your existing system to your new OPAF environment. And in the end, this can be a very appealing scenario for many of you to first to learn and expand, and then gradually move over to this new reality we're working on. The same actually applies to modular systems. So we all buy systems that are built by external suppliers who supply technology more than systems, if you will. So the system is often an add-on to the technology package that those suppliers actually provide us with. And if that would, I'm sorry, if that would be a nice way to connect to, if we would have a handshake, if you will, how to connect to our existing systems, that would make our lives much easier. And what you see here is this modular process system. And obviously our existing DCS and PLC systems in the network structure we simplified. And if you would be able to do this, for instance, it would allow you to connect to this modular system and talk to that system real time and get the information from that system, send backwards and forwards, and it would actually integrate in your existing infrastructure. And that will be another great example how OPAS could help you actually in the next few years. With that, I like to take you through the summary of the section I presented. So basically, I think we covered the scope of and showed the parallels between our existing systems and the new open OPAS certified products-based systems. I think that was probably an eye-opener for some of you to understand which elements actually are represented in our current systems. I also think I showed you end users and explained about end users that are starting to work with systems, and they want to understand and validate capabilities and understand the benefits. I mean, we have a huge installed base. We probably will have new facilities as end users, and we want to understand those benefits for both the existing as well as for the new facilities we will build in the near future, and that's really important. So I think we covered that. On top of that, we also showed that you can start small. So building a small system, building a system that is modular and can be expanded, or actually connect a modular system based on OPAS to your existing infrastructure. Those are things we see as they will pick up very soon. And what we've also shown is that, or what we mentioned is that end users also used prototypes and pilots already in their plans. Now, from my perspective, what do you do if you want to start? I would say go to your current supplier, ask them about these first DCNs. When can you start using them, or getting your arms around it? Because I think that's really important to get the understanding on what this technology will bring. It will be eye-opening, and it will be a game-changing thing for us to happen. So with that, I'd like to pass the presentation to Stephen Smith, who will take you through the next section. Thank you very much.